Welcome to the Black Educated Tea Podcast. I'm your host, Makeda Marie, and today's episode is Sis, You Made a Mistake. But, as always, before we get into the tea, let's get into the tea. So today I am drinking a Forever Fruit tea. Really good. It has lemongrass in it, rose hip. It has lemon in it, lemon balm. Really good tea, Forever Fruit. Kind of fruity. Not minty because it doesn't have the peppermint in it like a lot of my teas do. But I'm drinking a Forever Fruit tea. Really, really good. And so today your girl got your blue jeans on. I got my blue jean jacket on. I have on my blue jean earrings made by Oasis Vibe. I also have on this pretty, just lovely, but yet simple bracelet also made by Oasis Vibe. So I am representing a lot of Oasis Vibe material because it's an Oasis vibe today. It's an Oasis vibe. But let's go ahead and get into the topic. Sis, you made a mistake. I really just wanted to. I saw a video a couple weeks back where a young lady she was basically just telling her story and all the different things she had been through. And she was probably about 20, so still very young, still has a whole life to live, still have a lot of more lessons and things to learn along the way. But as she was talking, like the first thing that popped up in my mind, sis, you made a mistake. But so what? So what? And the reason why I said it like that, because she was so hard on herself. So she had, a couple of failed relationships, and she felt like, she wished she would have went to school or college straight out of high school. So she was so hard on herself. And for me, it was like, sis, you made a mistake. So what? Those were mistakes. Those were lessons. Let's move forward, and I had to take a step back for myself because I tend to do the same thing. I will make a mistake in life, and I used to be so hard on myself. And as I got older, I started to realize, hey, that was a lesson in that mistake. That was a decision that I made, and maybe it wasn't necessarily the right decision, or, at the moment I probably thought it was the right decision, but obviously it was not. But I made a mistake. I learned from it. Let's move on. Because I'm going to continue to say I have made mistakes, and I use have in the past tense, and I will make mistakes as in the future tense, because there is no way you can live this life and not have had made mistakes and not continue to make mistakes. The joy of making mistakes is learning from them. And that just popped up in my mind. I was like, sis, you made a mistake. Sis, I have made mistakes. Sis, a lot of us have made mistakes. All of us have made mistakes. If you have lived this life and you have reached a certain age, you have made mistakes. The thing is just to learn from those mistakes. Because for me, I have made plenty of mistakes, but when I do make that mistakes, I first off, I own up to it. So I take accountability for the things I've done and the mistakes that I've made. Now, let's say now, because I have to be real. Younger, when I was, I hate to say my younger days like I'm just so old, but when I was younger, I would not take accountability for the mistakes and the decisions that I made. That takes learning, that takes growth, that takes, being more mature. And so as I get older, grow, learn, live, basically, I now take accountability for those mistakes that I made. You know what? That's a decision I made, that I left this particular job. That's a decision that I made that I no longer wanted to do that because I thought it no longer fit me. So I've made plenty of mistakes and plenty of decisions, and it may not have been the right thing at that moment. And it's like, you know what? Yeah, I made that mistake. But I know what not to do the next time. Or I know what to do the next time based on that mistake that I have made. I mean, we have been in relationships that at the moment we thought it was the perfect relationship. We were just so much in love. All the red flags was there, but we didn't see any of it because we were so much in love and just, immersed in this person. And so a couple of years later, you kind of start to realize, like, okay, this relationship is not for me. I may have made a mistake in this. This is not what I want. This is not where I want to be. So you know what you do? And I know what I did. I left that relationship. And for some, It may have took a couple of years. But I left that relationship, and moving forward, I was like, okay, I know what I want and I know what I don't want. And that relationship may not have even been a mistake, because it was probably just more of a lesson that I needed to learn. So that's another way I look at mistakes now. I don't necessarily look at it as a mistake. I look at it as a lesson. There is something in there that I need to take from it, to learn from, and to move forward. Because I don't, as I always say, I don't have any regrets with anything I have done in my life, because those are just decisions I've made and actions and things I've done at that appropriate time that I felt like was suitable for me. So the same thing with the mistake. It may not necessarily be a mistake. It was just something you had to endure in your life in order to grow, in order to get that lesson out of it. And that just, her story touched me so much, because with her being 20 years old, I can picture that was me at that point in my life. Couple of failed relationships. As teenagers, you meet somebody, it's like, oh, I'm just so in love, and, you do some things that you shouldn't have done. And, when she was saying that she wished she would have went to college straight out of high school, I resonated with all of that, because I was like, I wish I just would have finished high school and to go to college straight after. And I did go to college after I got my GED, but just looking back, I was like, I wish I would have finished high school, and then I wish that I would have had the prom and the graduation and went straight into college. But that's not my story. That is not my story, and I can't change that, and there's absolutely nothing I would change about it to begin with. So, but with her being 20, I can get where her mindset is, because I was there, and I was always so hard on myself. The woulda, coulda, shoulda. Those were the conversations I would have with myself, and when I would make these mistakes or do these particular things that I felt like was failures, I would be so hard on myself. Makeda, why did you do that? Oh, you're just so stupid. You should have did it this way. You should have went with your first mind, and you should have did it this way. But I can't change any of that. So those were mistakes, or those were lessons. It's however you want to look at it. I choose to look at mistakes as just lessons. Now, if it's something that you repeatedly do and you continuously do, then at that point it's probably a mistake or just stupidity. At that point, I just use whatever word I love to use. So it may just be stupidity at that point, because anything that you repeatedly do that you know that is not good for you, it's not a mistake anymore, because we are all allowed to make mistakes. And we're going to continue to make mistakes throughout life, no matter what it is. But at what point is it no longer a mistake, and it's just you being foolish, stupidity is coming into it? At what point you're just not using your senses, so you have to know that as well. Is this really a mistake? Because this is the 10th time I've done this, or this is the 10th time I've let somebody else do this to me, or this is the 10th time this has happened to me. That's no longer a mistake. That is no longer a mistake. That is you just being, letting things casually go by. That is you not standing up for yourself. That, whatever the situation is, there are so many factors in it, but that's no longer a mistake when it continuously happens to you. Or if you're doing it to yourself as well, those are no longer mistakes. That is a deeper issue right there. But I have made mistakes. I will continue to make mistakes. That is the only way I can live, learn, grow, be able to show my kids what to do, what not to do, but still embrace and know that they have to live and they have to make their own mistakes and their own lessons. And all I can do as a parent is guide them, show them, give them the best advice I can, but I have to let them live and make those mistakes and those lessons, because I had to do the same thing. Because if I had not made those mistakes or those lessons, I would not be where I am today. I would not have. My life could have been totally different if I did not have those encounters and those mistakes and those lessons. Life is all about lessons. But the key to those mistakes and those lessons is to learn from it and to move forward. Give yourself mercy. Give yourself grace to know, you know what? I did make that mistake. I did. Own up to it. Yeah. Sis, you made that mistake. You did. But so what? Let's move on. Let's move forward. We know what to do, what not to do the next time. We're not going to be so hard on ourselves because we're all human and we are bound to make mistakes. Take those mistakes and make them lessons. That is the key. Because that's what I'm going to continue to do. Anytime I make a mistake with something, I'm going to say to myself, you know, Makeda, yeah, you made that mistake. But there's a lesson in this mistake. You know what not to do the next time. You know, you made this decision to go do this and it didn't work out the way you wanted to. So next time this situation happens or a similar situation happens, now I know that I'm not going to make that same choice I made that first time because I didn't get the results that I wanted to get. Simple as that. Simple as that, because I hear too many people, all age ranges, male and female, that are so hard on themselves when you make a decision and it doesn't turn out the way you wanted to, or you make a mistake in life. That's just life. How long are you going to beat yourself up, put yourself down because you made a mistake when at the time when you made that decision or you made that choice, it was probably good intentions behind it. You honestly thought it would be the right choice. You thought it would be the right decision, and it just was not. Move on from it. Life goes on. You have the rest of your life to live, to learn, to make mistakes. And you just continue to live and learn from those mistakes. That's all you can do. Just don't continue to make the same mistakes. That's the best way I can put it. Don't continue to make those same mistakes. Because mistakes are bound to happen. Lessons are definitely going to grow from those mistakes. Just don't continue to make the same mistakes, people. Because I did. I did. And wonder why I'm getting the same results. I'm like, oh, Lord, I want a different career. I want certain finances. I want happiness. I want this and that. And I kept doing the same things and kept making the same mistakes and wondering why I kept getting the same results. You know, and something was just like, ding, something popped up in my head. Makeda, this is the 8th time you did this. The same exact way. Why are you expecting different results from doing the same exact thing? You keep making the same mistake. You didn't learn the lesson the second or third time. When are you going to learn the lesson in it? And it took years and years for me to see I can't continue to do the same thing and make the same mistakes and want a different outcome. It just doesn't work that way. Let me change this. Let me take the lesson from this mistake so I can move forward with my life. And I can get that abundance and that happiness and those finances. And I can get what I want in life. Because nothing in life is a mistake. Nothing in life is a mistake. Everything that we go through is a part of our journey and it's a part of our life. So nothing is a mistake. It's just you learning from it, taking the lesson from it, taking the gift from it, and moving forward with your life and knowing what's best for you. And so I would just like to say again, sis, you made a mistake. So what? It's okay. Life goes on. Your journey goes on. Your blessings are going to come. Everything you want in life is there. Just take those mistakes, take those lessons, and move forward with your life. And I would just love to hear your stories, your comments. What mistakes have you made in life? Because we're not perfect. We're not going to even act like it. No, we're not going to act like we're perfect because we have all made mistakes. What are some of the mistakes that you have made in your life? And it maybe took several of those mistakes for it to click and be like, you know what? Okay, why am I still making this same decision or doing the same action, making the same mistake, but I want something different? And what was those mistakes that it may have took one time? You made that mistake one time and you was like, you know what? No, this is no more. because we've all had those moments. We've all made that mistake and that decision, and it only took one time, and you like, nope, that's it. And then what have been those mistakes that you have continuously done or made, and you just knew, okay, enough was enough after, so many tries and so many, mistakes. I would love to hear, your thoughts, your comments, your stories on mistakes you've made, how you've moved forward from it, or are you still even stuck in some of the mistakes that you have made? Because I can personally say that I feel like I am. I haven't. You will heal for the rest of your life. Because healing is all about a journey. It's all about growth. So you will continue to heal for the rest of your life. So I can honestly say that I feel like there are some mistakes or some situations or some decisions that I have made in my life that they may still be lingering a little bit, I will say. I don't hold on to it. I don't look at them as regrets, but they may still be lingering in my life right now. But the key is that I know that, and now it's time to try to move forward from those. So, as always, please just share your stories, your comments. I would just love to hear, about your mistakes in life, how you're moving forward from it, and how you're making the best out of those mistakes. And, as always, this is the Black Educated Tea Podcast.